Hey everybody, it's Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. I literally just finished filming like 30 minutes ago, and you're gonna see this probably a day later, but I just realized it's the end of the month and I gotta do my end of month recap. So here we go again. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a channel where I talk about all the cross stitch. And if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. Thanks so much for subscribing. So this is going to be the end of October recap. Today is the 31st. I figured it was good timing. This way I don't have to worry about trying to do this before I get to stitching tomorrow, which will be November the 1st. So I'm basically going to be doing a partial WIP parade because I'm going to be showing you everything that I worked on for the month of, I just realized I forgot my stupid tablet. Hang on, I'm not restarting this thing. Let me just grab it. I'm going to be showing you everything that I have worked on in the month of October. I'm going to try to go from least amount to most amount of progress. So if you're just now stumbling onto my channel, I have a few different games that I play to help with my stitching. I have a lot of projects. I have over 300. I have a select few that I'm working on right now. I don't mind the sheer vast quantity of WIPs that I have. It does not bother me. It really does not. So don't worry about it. I ain't worried about it. You don't need to worry about it. But I have a lot of WIPs. So I have a few different games that I play to help me along with figuring out what I want to work on. So I have a few focus pieces that I work on every week. And I have a WIP of shame, which is one of my 15 WIPs that I work on. I swap them out every month. My goal is to get 100 stitches a day for that month. So October's WIP of shame had a goal of 3,100 stitches. I also play Monopoly. And so I have a WIP assigned to every property in Monopoly. I also do temperature stitching where I look at the forecasted temps for the upcoming week. I take I have 10 WIPs assigned to 0 through 9. And so say if the high of Wednesday is 84 degrees, I take the 4 from that 84 and the WIP that's assigned to the number 4 gets 100 stitches. So that kind of helps give me a variety because I like working on different things. I don't like working on the same thing until it's done. Nope, not happening. Not for me. So I have a lot to show. So basically what I did, because I didn't do, I forgot something else, hang on. I didn't do the greatest job tracking my stitches. What I said I was going to do last month, I said I was going to try to track the starting percentage and stitch count for anything that was in Pattern Keeper. And I think I also said I was going to try to track half cross versus full cross and back stitch all separately. I did not do that part. I did write the start of a few of the projects that were in Pattern Keeper, but not all of them. So the information I can give you, I will. But I'm going to try to do a better job of that for the month of November. Try to like kind of fine tune how I'm tracking my stuff. But I have 42 different projects to show you. I worked on 42 WIPs in the month of October. And I have the one that got the least amount of progress was one of my Monopoly pieces. That was 50 stitches. The one that had the most amount of progress was 8,872 stitches. I have a total stitch count for the month. This is a combination of full cross, half cross, and back stitch. So some of my, and that's why I wanted to try to, that's why in the month, so this is why in the month of November, I want to try to track each one of those separate. So I have a full cross amount, a half cross amount, and a back stitch amount, because Usually the half cross and back stitch, it's like every 2 counts as 1 full cross. And so some of my projects, I have a total of half cross, and then some of them are like combining everything together. It's like all messed up. But the stitch count total that I have come up with, it's actually probably more than this, but the stitch count total that I added up from everything was 30,473 stitches for the month of October. Do I have September's handy? So actually, considering everything that happened, getting hit by 2 hurricanes and everything, that's not too bad, because in the month of September, so let's do a little comparison. In the month of September, I stitched on 44 different projects, and in the month of October, I stitched on 42 different projects. And in September, I had a total stitch count of 32,831, and in October, I had 30,473. So actually, that's pretty on par. 2 less projects and 2,000 less stitches in the month of October. It's not too bad. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try to do what I did last month, where I show in the order from least amount to most amount of progress. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of these you will have just seen in my most recent update, which I just got done filming. So the least amount, starting off with Spa Gnome. This is from cutebrodery.com. This is one of my Monopoly pieces, and this ended up getting 50 stitch. I don't have my board. Oh man. This ended up getting 50 stitches total for a piece landing on it and paying rent to, because it's already owned. So not much to show, but because I'll have before and afters, and it's only 50 stitches. So this will be coming out again next time its property gets landed on. And then these next ones are 100 stitches. Actually, let me do it like, where am I at? Hang on one second. Let me find, hang on, I'm trying, bear with me. You'd think I would be prepared for this, and I'm not, because I keep having to get up. But what I'm trying to do is, so I'm not hunting and pecking for everything. There we go. I'm gonna start marking these projects off as I show them, so that I'm not like constantly searching, because I do not have this in any kind of order right now on my list. I just have all the whips listed, no particular order. So next one is Nativity Motifs from Artiste. This actually ended up being a UFO, because when I started working on it, I got 100 stitches on it. And then I realized that the colors were incorrect, because the chart is almost like a double exposure, so it's hard to see the symbols. Someone mentioned I could purchase the pattern on Cooler Design Studio's website. Actually, I should just take this out of the bag, and then I have something to put another whip in that I have started. But someone mentioned I could purchase the pattern on Cooler Design Studio's website. Sorry, it's like really late. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I might do that. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a little nativity motif thing. So I might do that. I might not. Yeah. Okay. Next up is Summertime by Stitch Robia. And this one, I did not write the starting percentage on here. Nuts. But this is by, like I said, this is by Stitch Robia, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. Oh, real quick, Nativity was a Monopoly piece, so I went ahead and replaced it, but I haven't landed on that property yet, so But Summertime is a Monopoly whip, and I did 100 stitches on it. I actually just showed this in my most recent floss tube, so this is a repeat. So this is currently, so it got 100 stitches in the month of October, and it currently has 3,967 stitches completed out of 9,416, and I am at 42.13% done. So, and I'm doing the called for thread DMC, and this is I didn't even tell you about Spa Gnome. Oh my God, the 50 stitch one. That's like a 14 count pink and purple printed Charles Craft Aida I picked up at the store. This is a 16 count white opalescent Aida. Yeah, you can see the sparkle when I do that. But yeah, so I'm 42.13% done with that one so far. And that got 100 stitches. All right, let me see if I can keep this stuff separated. Okay, next up is A Wonderful Time of the Year, and this is another Monopoly piece. I believe I just showed this in my floss tube. This is by Ursula Michael, and you can probably pick this up at imaginating.com, but that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using the called for thread. It's a DMC, and I'm stitching this on a 28 count opalescent even weave, and I did 100 stitches on it right up here. I started this I didn't start it last year. Started it the year before. I haven't gotten very far because I didn't have a huge goal set for it last year. I don't even think I've worked on it. I don't know. I don't remember what happened. I guess we'll figure it out when I do my whip parade, because I plan on going back and watching last year's whip parade very, very fast, and probably just screenshotting my starting points for all the whips, instead of trying to search for each individual photo. Next up is another Monopoly piece. Hey, Mr. Whiskers. Hi, boy. Next up is another Monopoly piece. This is Ho Ho Ho. Actually, hang on. I have this in Pattern Keeper, and did I write it down? No, I did not. My starting percentage. I'll try to remember to do that with the next, with the month of November. Ho 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 is by Cross Stitch for Everyone. I actually got this, she has a Facebook group, and this is she has some patterns for free in her files, and this was one of them. Pretty easy stitch. There's no background to it. So I got 100 stitches on it, and I'm doing this on a 14 or 16 count, probably 14, like silver something Aida. And so I did 100 stitches on this, and some of the stitches it's hard to see because this is the middle hoe. And this is an ornament, and it's got like this hook coming off of it, and so I did, some of my stitches are in this hook right here. But I got 100 stitches on it. It's really sparkly. I got 100 stitches on it in the month of October. So I am now at 1,106 stitches completed out of 9,659, and I am at 11.45% done. Like I said, super easy stitching. I think it only has like 10 colors, so not very difficult at all. And this is a Monopoly piece. I think I said that. Sorry, Mr. Whiskers, but you're in my way. All right. Next up is Spanish Sampler. It's out of 101 Best Loved Designs by Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am using the called for thread. It's just DMC. I think there's a Kreinik I need to order, but I ain't worried about that right now. And I am doing it 2/2 on a 28 count white casual linen. And I got 100 stitches on it in the month of October. I got 100 stitches on it in the month of October. I'm using 2 strands. Except for the satin stitches, I'm using 3 strands so that it appears fuller. But yeah, this is actually in 2 of my things. This is one of my Monopoly pieces, and it is also a temperature piece. So I actually ended up doing that 100 stitches for the temperatures. And I need to put this in a different spot because I need to work on this week. Because it's, I landed on it in Monopoly. Let me put that, what's this one here? What is this? Where did I put that there? That can go down there. Okay, I'm gonna put that over there because I gotta work on that this week. Okay. Next up, so is Sea Turtle. And I did do this before stitch count, even though it was only 100 stitches. But Sea Turtle Monochrome, this is by Stitching Jewels Design. And this one got 100 stitches, and this was one of my temperature pieces. And the 100 stitches actually finished off the 1,000 stitches I had a goal set on. So that's why it hasn't come out at all. I finished off the 100 stitches at the beginning of the month, or finished off the stitch goal at the beginning of the month. But I'm using, I'm doing it in 310, and I'm doing it on an 18 count Aida in the color Coastal by Picture This Plus. And good Lord, that is where I got to. Oh my God. I should have got my board when I kept getting up, but we'll do it like that. There we go. So I got my 100 stitches on it. My starting stitch count was 2,801, and my starting percentage was 53.61. I did 100 stitches, so I'm now at 2,901 stitches done out of 8,334, and my percentage went, oh, I'm sorry. Not 53.61, it was 33.61. My percentage complete went from 33.61% to 34.81%. So there's that. But it's 1,000 stitch count goal got completed. So you're probably not going to see this one until next year. Hey, Gracie. That one can go over there. I think next month what I'm going to try to do before I film this is I will actually have everything in stitch count order on my list. So I'm not like hunting and pecking and trying to cross off. Okay, next up is another piece that was a temperature whip. And this is Merry Christmas from Artiste. This one was another one that where did it go? There it is. This one was another one that had the 1,000 stitch goal completed at the very beginning of the month. So I got the 100 stitches done on it, and that was all I had to do. So my 100 stitches for this was in the back stitching for the S. I'll be really excited to pull this out again though, because I really love it. My favorite one is the C, the frosted cookie here. I really like that one a lot. But I'll be excited when this comes out again, because I'm going to finish off the S and then I'm going to move on to the T, which I believe is this. Yeah, the T will be a big snowman right here. That's what I'll move on to next. So my plan is to stitch across here, and I'll be excited to get to this because it's a candy ribbon. And then I'll come over here and I'll stitch Mary going this way, and then I can end on another frosted cookie. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, I got my 100 stitches on that, and like I said, I hit the 1,000 stitch goal for the temperature. When I work, so it gets the temperature stitching gets 100 stitches for every day that its number pops up, and once I hit 1,000 stitches, I switch it off for something different so I can keep trying to rotate through stuff. So let's see, next up is another temperature piece, sampler 124. I did not write the beginning percentage down for this one. That's okay though. Okay, I gotta find it on Pattern Keeper. Here it is. No, that's not what I wanted. Sampler 124, this is by 2x2 Stitch Art on Etsy. That's what's gonna, I'm gonna say that's what it's gonna look like when it's done, but it's not really, because I'm changing the colors. So I got my 100 stitches on it for the temperatures, and that finished off the 1,000 stitch goal. And that is where I'm at with it now. So I now have 4,910 stitches completed out of 39,038, and I am at 12.58%. So my colors, I have the boxes in $37.99, and then what I did was in Pattern Keeper, I put it into 20 stitch wide diagonals, and I picked 3 colors. I picked a pink, a purple, and a blue. The pink is 3805, the purple is 3835, and the blue is 3750. And so what I did was, in the top, I started in the top left corner, and in diagonal 1, which was only about that big, I did 2 strands of pink, and I'm doing it full cross with 2 strands. So diagonal 1 was pink, diagonal 2 was 1 strand of pink and 1 strand of purple, diagonal 3 was 2 strands of purple, number 4 was a strand of purple and a strand of blue, number 5, is that 5, was 2 strands of blue, 6 was a strand of blue and a strand of pink, and then 7 was 2 strands of pink, and I'm just going to repeat that going all the way across. I made it over to there. So let me show you this again. There we go. So this hit the 1,000 stitch goal. So it's going away for a bit. All right. Next up is one of my Monopoly pieces, and this is Autumn Sampler from Cooler Design Studio. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. And I have a lot of pieces that were like 100 or 200 stitches. I think that's why it's so many whips I was working on, because a lot of it is temperature or Monopoly stitching. So this one got 100 stitches on it this month in October. And I'm doing it with the called for DMC 2/2 on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. And my 100 stitches were right over here. I worked on the leaves, and I started in, oh, what's that thing called? The hay, the straw. So many of you guys commented and told me I don't remember now. I don't care. It don't matter. You don't need to tell me. I'll remember it as soon as I stop recording, I'm sure. But yeah, so that's where my 100 stitches went, was in that part right there. So next time this comes out, next time, that thing right there is what I was trying to remember the name of. Next time this comes out, I'll probably keep doing the leaf outlines and also working on this thing right here. So. Okay. Next up is, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm still in the hundreds. I have a bag that has 2 projects in it, and one is for my 100 group and one is for a different that got more, so I just want to make sure I don't skip it. Okay, next up is another Monopoly piece. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection, Cherry Blossom Creek. This is designed by Sung Kim. Sung, I don't know, Kim. And this got 100 stitches on it. And I'm using whatever came in the kit. It's what is it? 16 count light blue Aida. And I measured the fabric out to the corner. And I did 100 stitches on it from Monopoly. That's where I'm at with it now. It's not quite full coverage. There are some spaces that aren't stitched, not many. It's almost full coverage. I think, like, to count as full coverage, I think like over 90%. So I guess technically it could be a full coverage, but I'm not counting it as full coverage because not everything is stitched. But yeah, so there's my 100 stitches on that. Okay, let me show. Where is it? Yep, okay, mine. All right, so next up is one of my, another Monopoly piece. This is my Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure from Cunning Cross Stitch. The Facebook group, this is no longer available. He took it down when he started the Middle Earth Stitch Your Own Adventure. All I have to show as a mock-up is the parchment outlines, because every chapter is different based on the choices. It's like a choose your own adventure book. So every chapter is going to be different, and I'm doing this 3 different times. I'm doing it once for myself and then once for each of my boys. So you're going to see 2 of these. You're going to see this one here, and then you're going to see another one later. But this one here is the one I'm doing for myself, and I'm just doing it like a 16, maybe 16 count Aida that I stuck in some coffee to give it a little bit of a parchment look. And I did 100 stitches on it, and my stitches were down here I started this letter that's down here. But this is the outline for chapter 1, which is going to be my house flag. And then this is the outline for chapter 2, which is the Quidditch game. And I know that I got a stitch on it this coming week, so I'm probably going to try to work in this area right here. But yeah, it's hard to see. Oh, well, you can kind of see it there, but I got my 100 stitches in on this letter right here. And this one here is the one that you just saw. When I get over here, I'm actually going to replace this with a howler. That's the red letter. And in the first Harry Potter movie, Ron got one from his mother. Why? Oh, I don't remember now, but it's basically the letters that you can send when you want to scream at somebody. Like, Ron got in trouble and his mom sent the howler, and it was like, you know, yelling at him. It was so funny. But yeah, I'm going to replace that middle letter with a howler. All right, I need to put this over here because it's on my list of stuff to work on this week. Okay. Now we are moving on to the stuff that is in the 200s. So first up is one of my temperature pieces. This is a new temperature piece. This actually just replaced another one. And this is the Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Autumn Series, and this is espresso. Somehow I ended up piling all the ones that I just recently worked on at the very top, so I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again. Here we go. Okay, so this got, because I just got done filming like my regular floss tube like not that long ago, so now I feel like I'm just showing this again, like repeating myself. So this got 200 stitches on it, and I'm using everything that came in the kit, including the perforated paper. And my 200 stitches, I mean, you'll see the before picture, but it's all up here, and then I did a little bit down here in the cup. But this is one of my temperature pieces, so it can get 800 more stitches on it before it gets replaced, and we'll see if that happens in the month of November. This is not one of my pieces this week, so give me 1 second, I gotta find it on here and cross it off. Okay, I feel like we're making pretty good progress. Okay, next up is another temperature piece, and this is Let's Talk Stitching by Hands On Design, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I did just show this one too. I did a lot of stitching the last week, so I did just show this one too, but what I will be showing today is the before from the beginning of the month, because I've actually gotten a total of 200 stitches on this, and it's all folded up. I'm not unfolding it because you can see everything, but the month of October I've done a total of 200 stitches, and I believe it was, I don't remember if I had to work on this at all, or if, I know this, finishing the scissors and starting the word Ada down here was last week. I don't remember if the 100 was all in the scissors, the other hundreds, but that got 200 stitches total. And I do not recall how many more times this thing gets worked on before it gets replaced. I do not have that information available. Maybe I should track that too. Like how many times left and all that mess. I don't remember if this is one of that I need to work on. Or on my book, oh, on my bookstore over there. I'll put this over there for right now. Actually, you know, no, I don't need to work on that this week. Never mind. Okay, next up is one of my Monopoly pieces. I just showed this one as well. This is the Falling Snow stocking from Heaven and Earth Designs, charted by Alan Guiana. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I got 200 stitches on it. Let me try this again. Okay, so here we go. My 200 stitches were up in this corner up here, but that's the whole thing. And I actually wrote down, I didn't, oh yeah, I did, okay. So I started at 19,663. I am currently at 19,863 out of 78,648. I started the month at 25% even, and I am now at 25.26%. That's how I want to say it. I think that's what I want to say. My starting stitches, and then my current stitches, and then my starting percent and my current percent. That's what I want to do. But this is one of my Monopoly pieces. So, oh, I didn't even say I'm doing the call for DMC. All my full coverages, I do what's called for with DMC, but I'm doing it 2/1 half cross, like tent stitch on a 25 count easy count Lugana. Okay. Next up, another piece I just showed. That's what throws me off about filming my end of the month update right after I film a floss tube. Is I just showed this, so I'm like, I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over. Next up is a new start for the month, and this was a birthday start for me. So my birthday was on the 27th, and this is Winter Cookie Party Max Color by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And that is what it's, I love this. I'll be so excited to see progress on this thing. But that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. And it's 700 by 501. It has 240 colors. And like I said, it's a new start for me. So I did an upper left-hand corner start, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 28 count, easy count Lugana. And I'm doing it on the diagonal, but I don't quite have the diagonal completed. I just did 200. There's still more stitches to finish the diagonal off. But I did 200 stitches out of 350,700. I am at 0.06% done. So let me go ahead, since I'm not going to be working on it for a bit, let me go ahead real quick while I have it in my hand. And I normally stitch in hand, but the night that I worked on this, I was pretty tired and I didn't feel like wrangling the fabric, because usually even on something like this, I'll stitch in hand. And what I'll do is I roll the fabric up from the bottom, and then I just kind of hold it like this, and I poke, I stab. I don't like do the sewing method. I poke and stab. But that's how I do it. And then if it's like a really big piece of fabric, I just kind of like fold it like this, like kind of in half like that, so that it's not like pulling. And I just have the rest of this fabric right here is just sitting in my lap. And that's what I do. But I used to work exclusively with Q-snaps, and I spontaneously, that's what I wanted that nativity bag for. But I just spontaneously, a couple years ago, I think, was it last year? Started stitching in hand. I think it was last year, because one of my smaller whips didn't fit in any kind of frame, and I was like, well, let me try stitching in hand and seeing how hard this is going to be. And I was like, oh, this is kind of easy. And I just slowly started progressing further and further up until I got to my full coverages. Where I was stitching in hand. So, all right. But I do use the Q-snap occasionally, as you saw, depending on how I feel. Okay, next up is another temperature piece, and this is from Shannon Christine Designs. Let me see if I can just keep this in the bag. This is Cup of Cheer. Aw, I really love that one. I just noticed that one. I really like that. I will be excited to get a lot of progress on this. But I have done, I'm doing this with the Call for DMC on 16 count, I don't know, gray blue Aida. And I've done a total of 200 stitches on this. I've done 100 in this cup right here, and I did another 100 in the word cup over here. And I started on the white that goes up around the sides. But yeah, I got 200 stitches on this. This is one of my temperature pieces. I believe that this is the first 200, so I believe that I should have another 800 to go before it gets switched out with another project for temperature stitching. So you'll hopefully get to see that more in November. All right, next up is a new start. This was a new start due to Monopoly. It's my community chest cards. I have like 4 new starts, and this is I just have new start, and then I just have a bin of new starts, and I just reach in and pull one out, and that's what I'm starting. So this was one of them. This is Winter from Cricut Collection, and I'm doing the called for floss, but I changed the fabric. I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Lugana in the color Blueberry by Fiber on a Whim. And I did a left-handed start on this. And that is, I got 200 stitches on it. So this is the start of the W. And I didn't want to do quite a center start because of that, like, I'm going to have all that fabric to do something else. You know what? I got December. One of my stitching friends sent me the Cricut Collection December. I wonder if it would fit on here. If it would be wide enough, because I believe it, I'll have to look and see, but look at all that fabric I'm going to have extra down here. So I could fit something else on there. Oh, I wonder if December would fit on there. I'll have to look. We'll see. But yeah, I got 200 stitches on that. And so I wrote the name on the community chest card. So if I pull that card again, I'll do another 200 stitches on it. So I will say the chances of that coming out in the month of November are pretty slim. Okay, next up is another Monopoly piece, and this is Summer Sampler by Cooler Design Studio. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. I do have all 4 of these pieces, but that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using the called for DMC, and I'm doing this one also 2/2 full cross or half or whatever it calls for stitches on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. This got 200 stitches on it, and that is where I'm at with it now. So I have all the cross stitching done in the little lighthouse scene up here. This is where a tomato seed packet is going to go. But I started in on the back stitching in this as well. So when this comes out for Monopoly, I'm going to work on completing the back stitching in there, except for the border. Like there's back stitching that's going to go along the edge right there. I'm not going to do that because I got to put stuff under it. So once that stuff goes in, then I'll go back and back stitch around that. And then around this part right here too. But that's where I'm at with that one. Got 200 stitches on it. Okay. Next one I'm going to show, not that I worked on, is another new start from my Monopoly game. So this will be another one where if the community chest card that called for it to be a new start, if I pull that card, this is what will get 200, it'll get 200 stitches. But this is, I'll speak French, a hen from Artiste. And yeah, I don't speak French, so however you say it, a chicken, a hen in French. People have commented on how to pronounce it, and I always forget by the time I go to show it. But this was a new start. I did an upper left-hand corner. I measured it out and got an upper left-hand corner start, and that's my 200 stitches. So I started, this is, they're showing a frame piece. So this is actually, like if you look here, this is not the entire, like it's covered up. Some of it's covered up by the frame. So, but yeah, upper left-hand corner start. And once I get that block done, I got to figure out what I'm going to do, because this right here, this is solid black stitching, and all the design that's all across here is all back stitching. And then there's a lot of black in here. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably maybe start, once I get this done, I think what I'll do is I'll start down here and I'll work some black in, and then I'll come over here and I'll work some of this color in. I'll probably kind of work like that and maybe start in on that purple too. And just kind of rotate through all that so I don't get really bored doing the same colors over and over again. Okay. But the chances of that coming out in the month of November are very slim, so I don't even know if I got to worry about it, because I'm changing my Monopoly game in January. Okay, next up is another Monopoly piece, and this is Cupid's Cafe from Sugar Stitches Design. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am using the called for DMC. It's 7 colors, and I'm doing it 2/2 on a 28 count baby pink even weave. I got it on 1, 2, 3 stitch, and sorry, the lighting is not the greatest because it's like 11:30 at night. Yeah, I got 200 stitches in on this, so you should see some pretty good progress. I think I mainly worked up in this top flower border up here, trying to get all that stuff done. And then I also got the little rosebuds cross stitched. I have to go back and do some back stitching on them. And I got a lot of the heart border on the sides here. I think I got almost all the hearts filled in, and I got some of the white trellis going down the sides. I got some of that done too. I don't know, I worked all over. I don't remember exactly where I worked, but it's hard for you to see the white stitching, but you can see it in person just fine. But it's hard for y'all because the camera like washes out the white against the baby pink. But it's okay. I'll tell you what though, this fabric, man, it holds wrinkles like nobody's business. Holy cow. Wrinkles and folds, and it's like, and I don't iron. So, all right. All right, we are still in the 200s. Next up is another Monopoly piece, and this is from Shannon Christine Designs. And this is Autumn Favorites. That is what it's gonna look like when it's done. And I'm doing this with the call for DMC on a 14 or 16 count chalkboard Aida. I think it's a 16 count chalkboard Aida. And I got 200 stitches on this, and it was all in the word bonfires right here. So the next time this comes out, I'm going to finish the blue stitching in the S right there, and then I'm going to go back with white and do the back stitching in the bonfires word. I think that's probably my favorite part of the pattern, is that bonfires word. It just looks really cool. It's probably my favorite one. But I'll at least get that, and then I don't know where I'm going to go after that. Okay, next up is another Monopoly piece, and we are still in the 200s. This is I Love You to Death, and this is by Stitchman Darcy. He has an Etsy shop. He has a floss tube. He's on Instagram. He's everywhere. Here it is. All right, Stitchman Darcy, I Love You to Death. 255 by 155. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I did do the before stitch count and percentage on this one. This is in Pattern Keeper. There's a little bit of back stitching in it, but not much. So I got 200 stitches on this. Okay, I was gonna show it with that book, but you're not gonna be able to see that. All right, so there's my 200 stitches. I started, can you see? Yeah, okay. So I started the month at 2,828 stitches. I am now sitting at 3,028 stitches out of 9,401. I started the month at 30.08% and I am now at 32.21%. And I'm doing it with the called for DMC on a 28 count, some kind of gray linen. I don't really know. I don't remember. I picked this up for something and it wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I kind of set it aside, and then I came across this pattern and I liked it for this. So yeah. Okay. All right, we are now out of 200 even. We are almost done with the 200s. Next up is one of my bake-off pieces. So I am doing a cross-stitching game. I got the idea from Jessie Marie over at Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And I'm doing stitching to the show, The Great British Bake Off. I explain everything in my main floss tube, so I'm not gonna totally explain everything here. I will just say this is one of my technical stitch pieces. This is Best Friends Quotes by Stitch Area on Etsy. This particular pattern is no longer available, but I had seen other Etsy shops that have a similar style to this show. So if you like something like this, if you just go on there and do like Friends Cross Stitch, Friends TV Show Cross Stitch on Etsy, you'll probably find something similar and honestly probably chart it a little bit better. This is fine, but if I was to do this over again, I would definitely do it on even weave, because the cross stitching is the way that some of the stitching is, it's a little ridiculous. Anyway, this got so this is my bake-off stitching, so it's an odd stitch count, but this got 275 stitches. And I just showed this in my last floss tube, so I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's almost done, but not quite. But this is a technical stitch, so I'm working on it until it's completed. So what I did do this month with the 200 was I finished off this duck, finished off the word sevens over here. That says big fat goalie. I did the words big fat, and I back stitched the turkey. I finished the cross stitching in the name tag, and I started the back stitching on it. Hello, my name is, and this is going to say Regina Phalange. Since I had the white from this, I came over and I started on, this is going to say whoop-ha. So, and then what I have left, that's all, and that's the 200. What I have left is whoop-ha, Regina Phalange, and then up here is going to say more turkey, Mr. Chandler, so I got to put more turkey. I got to finish the stitching on the armadillo and stitch the word armadillo here, and I need to finish the chopsticks and back stitch them, and then put in the 2 dots between the letters, and then it'll be done. So that's exciting. I want to say I started this in like 2019, but I kept putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and picking it up. But this got 275 stitches, and I got to stitch on that this week, so it's going to go over there. Okay. Next up is, oh, now we're getting into the 300s. Next up is a temperature piece. And this is from Glendon Place. And, hang on. This is Halloween Wishes. It says, ghosts and goblins, spooks galore, scary witches at your door, jack-o'-lanterns smiling bright, wishing you a haunting night. So I got the thread pack when I bought this. So I have all the called for. It calls for Weeks Dye Works. They do give conversions for the DMC, Sullivan's, or Anchor. And but I got the thread pack for when I bought the pattern. And this got, for the month of October, this got a total of 300 stitches, right? Yeah, okay. This got a total of 300 stitches. So I almost finished the S in Scary. Not quite. I think it was, what was it? I think I had to finish the C, and then I worked on the S, but then I ran out of, my thread ended. So I just have a little bit of the S, but I didn't want to, I was tired of working with that color. So I came up here and I started in on the word spooks. Like, but I counted up from like right there, because I'm doing it with the call for thread on a, I think this is like a 32 count vintage Stormy Night, 2/2. So I wanted to count up, I didn't, from a good starting point, so that's why like there's like letters missing and stuff. But yeah, so this got 300 stitches, and I want to say that it can get worked, it'll get 700 more before it gets replaced, I believe. I think this is one I'm supposed to work on this week, so I'm going to put that over there. Okay. Next up is another temperature piece, and this is from cutebroidery.com. She has a lot of gnome patterns, so if you're into gnomes, you should go to cutebroidery.com. Also, Maya Stitch on Etsy has a lot of really cute gnomes, and Soda Stitch. But this is what Peacock Gnome is going to look like. And again, this is from cutebroidery.com. And this got 300 stitches in the month of October. And I'm doing it on a 14 count printed Charles Craft Aida in like this blue green color. And that's where I'm at with it now. I'm working off a paper pattern, so I don't know what my percentage is on it. But that's where I'm at with it now, and I want to say that it's going to come out this week, so I'm going to set it aside over on my couch. But yeah, 300 stitches, and I don't remember how many more times this gets worked on before it gets replaced. I do not recall. I want to say that I have not worked on it that much, so it's probably still 600 or 700 more stitches before it gets replaced. Okay. Still in the 300s, but not a dead set amount in 300s. This is my only Mirabilia that I have started. This is Nightingale by Mirabilia. And that is what she's going to look like when she's done. I'm using the Call for Floss, but I changed the fabric because that green is like the worst color in the entire world. I freaking hate these witch elf fabrics that they put these on. I know why she uses the witch elf because of the contract and everything, but that does not mean that I have to like it. That fabric sucks. I am doing this 2/2 on a 28 count, where is it? I always forget the color. 28 count Lugana in the color Dusk by Picture This Plus. And this got 330 stitches on it in the month of October. And that is where I'm at with it. So I did a center start, and I'm trying to work my way up. Like her head and torso are like over here. So I'm trying to not, like some of the blank spaces are where the beads are gonna go. But I'm trying to work my way up to the top and maybe try to, I think what I might try to do is work as this comes out, work my way up. So I'm like right here. So I want to try to get up to here and maybe try to get, because I stitch this in hand, so maybe try to do the beads and everything all at the same time. And like kind of work up, get all the beads done, and then start kind of working my way down and across. That way, if I roll this up in my hand, I'm not like smushing beads, because sometimes I grip the fabric kind of hard. So she got 330 stitches this month. Oh no, I broke a nail. Look at that. Ah, I have a nail file. Hang on. Y'all bear with me for a minute, because I'm going to end up catching this on, where's my nail file? Oh, it's in my Notions bag. Y'all bear with me for a second. I don't want to pause. I already got to edit this stupid thing to add photos in. I don't really want to have to pause and then splice two videos together. I want to try to keep this in one if I can help it. Oh dear. I'm going to have to trim my nails. When did that happen? Oh, that looks terrible. I'm going to have to trim it now. Dang it. Okay. All right, so Nightingale was, I said, right, 330 stitches. Okay. Now we're getting into the 400s. So this is one of my temperature pieces. And this is probably one of my favorite non-full coverage pieces. This is Poltergeist Pirates by Glendon Place. It looks so good stitched up in person. Like I saw this on the wall and then my mom saw it when we went to Brick City Cross Stitch in Ocala for my birthday. And I pointed to it and I was like, hey, look how cool that looks. I already had it. But she was like, oh yeah, that does look neat. I was like, yeah, that's the one. So I was telling her about how I ended up getting everything for this. But this is one of my temperature pieces, and I got 400 stitches on it for the month of October. So this can get another 600 before it goes away. And I'm using the called for floss, and I'm doing it on the called for fabric, which is a 28 count Bang. Right? Yeah. Bang Casual Linen by Crosswing Collection. And this is where I got to. So my 400 stitches. So this is the whole, like everything I've done. And so I'm trying to back stitch as I go. That's what it says to do. So as I get chunks of stitching completed, like once all the stitching is done and there's nothing around it that needs to go in, then I will do some back stitching. But that's why I haven't like completed back stitching in some parts. But my 400 stitches was kind of going up this mast. I did a little bit of the dragon head right here because I don't have a paper copy, a working copy. I'm just looking at the pattern and stitching. And so to keep myself straight, I kind of did a little bit of the green in the head right here so I could, you know, see what symbol. Anyway, I did that to give myself like a good visual of where I needed to go, because this is a lot of repetitive stuff and I didn't want to get it jacked up. So I figured out where I needed to go to get started on this sail so I could come up to this thing so I could work on Mr. Bones up here. So that's what Ariana asked me to call him, Mr. Bones. So he is almost done. I have to finish his hat, finish his beak, fill in his eye. I want to say this part of his head is done. And then I got to finish his wing and one more leg, and then I'm going to backstitch him. That's my plan of attack. I'm focusing on Mr. Bones up here. So, yeah, that got 400 stitches this month. I was very excited when that came out. Like, I was so excited, I was like dropping everything, like trying to show. And I pulled it out. Okay, that is not getting worked on this week. Okay. All right, next up is Halloween Quaker. This is one of my Monopoly pieces. And it's from Lila Studio. Did I stitch on this for Monopoly, or did I just pull this out to work? No, I did it for Monopoly, right? Yeah, did it for Monopoly. So apparently one of my tokens owns it now. Because I did it all in one go. Now I'm trying to think. See, this is why I gotta track my stitching better, like when especially if it's in multiple locations. But I'm using DMC Black and DMC White, or B5200. Otherwise, I have the Called For Floss. And I'm doing it 2/2 on a 32 count vintage Stormy Night. And it got 400 stitches on it this month. So the 400 stitches, that's what I have done so far. So the black and the white are 310 and B5200. Otherwise, I'm using the Called For stuff. So this got completed, and I started in on that motif up here at the top. So next time it comes out, I'll finish this motif and I'll move on to something else. I don't know what yet, but that's where I'm at with that. Okay. Okay, next up is another, the other Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure piece, that one there. But this one is for my older son. I didn't get to work on my younger son's piece this month. But this one's for my older son, and I'm just doing it on a 16 count ivory Aida. And hang on one second. So I got 400 stitches on it in the month of October. So that's where I'm at with it now. I got, so on mine, I have the parchment outline for chapter 2 down here. This is chapter 5 outlined, and the start of chapter 4 down like here. But I have the parchment outline printed, the pattern printed, and then all the other chapters are on my computer. So I kind of bounce back and forth. If I have my computer handy and I'm not fighting with my little heathen who likes to play Roblox on it, I mean, I know that I can tell him, give me my computer, but if he wants to play Roblox, I'm gonna let him play Roblox. It's not a big deal. So when I have access to my computer, I try to work on the chapters in the computer, and if I don't have easy access to it, then I work on the parchment outlines. There's a lot to do on all three pieces. So the first 200 stitches I did were in the parchment outlines. So this is half of his wand and the start of one of the swirls up at the top. And then I actually just worked on this earlier today, actually. And I had my computer handy. So I went ahead and did the other 200 stitches in chapter 5, in the cauldron right here. And this chapter is like about a love potion. So basically you're writing letters to your parents. You're a student at Hogwarts, you're writing letters to your parents. And every chapter has a letter. And when you pull it up on the computer, you read the letter, and it basically, like this one, he got invited, I think, to dinner or something, and he had to choose between two hyperlinks. He had to choose because you got invited, but then you found out your friends didn't get invited. So you had to choose if you were going to stay at Hogwarts with your friends, or if you were going to go ahead and go to the dinner. And so he decided to go ahead and go to dinner. And so he learned how to make the love potion. And when you do that, you pick 3 of your, he gives you like this list of scents that are your favorites. And so he picked this, the smell of baking bread, coffee, and peaches. Those were the 3 he picked. So I got those in, but my 200 stitches is down here in the cauldron. But I'll be excited to get some of this stuff going on all 3 of them, because all 3 of them are going to look different. Like there's going to be some similar things about them, but essentially, like, even though it's the same project, it's going to be completely different with how it ends up looking because of the whole Stitch Your Own Adventure thing. So that got 400. Okay, next up is from, this was just one of, I was pulling weekly, I was pulling projects every week to work on, in addition to everything else I was doing. I did not do that this week because of everything else I had to do. But this was one of my weekly pulls, and this is Cosmic Bowling by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Did I write down? Sure did not. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at, so it's, I was looking to see if I wrote down the starting percentage, which I did not. But this is 750 by 535, and it has 89 colors. And I am doing it 1/1 full cross on a I think this might be a 28 count easy count Lugana. I did an upper left hand corner start, and then when I pulled this out to work on it this month, I started converting it into a diagonal. And so this is where the diagonal is going to end up once it actually gets worked on. But I got 404 stitches on it in the month of October. And so I am now at 2,404 stitches completed out of 401,250, and I am at 0.60%. I actually got this piece because it reminds me of the birthday parties for my nephew. He typically has his birthday parties at the bowling alley, the local bowling alley, and they do like the lights and the disco balls, and they have the greasy pizza that's gross but good at the same time. And yeah. And there's Gracie. His birthday party is in a couple weeks. It's gonna, not this, 2 weekends. It's in 2 weekends because I actually have the kids that day. So I don't have to go get them from their dad to go to the party. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the birthday party. Get a beer, and they have a really good salad there. The one that he's having the party at. They have this salad that's freaking humongous for a great price. It's really good. Okay, moving on. Next up is Hello Summer from It's So Emma. And I call this my penis popsicle piece because where I started at earlier, they all look like very phallic. But this month I got 458 stitches on it, and I got this as a kit, so I'm doing it on a 14 count navy Aida they're not as bad anymore, but they still don't look the best regarding the shapes. But it's a 14 count Navy Aida, and it's DMC. I'm doing 2 strands full cross. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So the U popsicle is almost done. I just got to do the stick down here. But all the popsicles are at least started. And I got the word hello started. So making progress. This is in my work on until it's finished piece pile. I don't know why I have it in that, because it's not really close to being done. I don't know what I was thinking, but that got 458 stitches. Let's see. We are progressing along nicely with the stitch counts. Next up is from Stitching Jewels Design. And this is Gothic House. Let me find it. I just showed this in my floss tube earlier tonight. I think it's like 330 by 330. It's a pretty big piece, but it's not full coverage. This is a monochrome piece. I am doing it in 310, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 25 count vintage Stormy Night. I did not do the starting percentage on this one. Blast. Nuts. But I have a total for the month of October. I got a total of 500 stitches, and that is where I'm at with it now. The before and after is not going to look as impressive as the before and after I showed in my floss tube, because I actually worked on this earlier today to do 400 stitches for my weekly temperature stitching. This was a temperature piece, but the stitches I did on it earlier to hit my temperature goal actually completed the 1,000 stitch goal I had for it. So earlier today, I actually showed a before and after of the 1,000 stitches. So this before and after is for the month of October. So it's 500 stitches, so not as impressive as the other one, but that's okay. I now have a total of 3,876 stitches done out of 28,708, and I am at 13.50% done. But this is going to go away for a bit because I got my 1,000 stitch goal completed, and this is not one of my Monopoly pieces, so it is going to be put up probably until next year. Hi, Gracie. Okay. Look at that. We got that page completed. Not that much more to go. Okay, next up. Excuse me. Next up is a kit from Artiste. And this is Welcome. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using whatever came in the kit. And so far this month, I have gotten 500 stitches on it. And I believe I need to stitch on it this coming week for 200 stitches, and that will complete my goal, my 1,000 stitch goal, so that'll be cool. But I got a lot of work done on this. This is one of my temperature pieces. But yeah, 500 stitches got me quite a ways, because I believe that I was like in this E, I finished the back stitching, finished cross stitching and back stitching that E, and then I came over here and I did the L, and I started on and completely did that. Whatever's not back stitched, there's something that's going to go right there, so I didn't do the back stitching on it yet. And then I started in on this E over here. So, but I wish I had my other book that I have my temperature stitches in. Well, I mean, I have it right there, but it's like way far away. But yeah, I believe, yeah, Merry Christmas is done. This one is almost done. I think I gotta work on that this week. Okay. Next up is another one of my Bake Off. Nope. This is I don't know why I was thinking that. This is a Monopoly piece, and this is the piece I stitch on when I have to go to jail in Monopoly. This is A Whole Lotta Latte by Dimensions. It's one of my whips of shame. So what I did, like I was saying, so I have my really old whips that are over 10 years old. And sorry, I'm just like out of breath. Thank God I don't have to work tomorrow. But this is what I did to select what piece I was gonna have to stitch on when I was in jail. I looked through my whips of shame and I selected my least favorite one to try to force myself to do stitches on it. And so this is the one I'm doing. And so far in the month of October, a lot of pieces, well, 2 pieces went to jail and one of them was in jail for quite a while. So I was not very pleased. But I got I did stitches in September too, I think. Hang on a second. Bear with me for 1 second. Hang on yep, okay. I got 600 stitches on this for the month of October. It really threw me off because I knew that I had done way more than that. And that's why I just stopped for a minute. But I did 600 in September as well. So this actually has gotten a total of 1,200 stitches since I started playing Monopoly. But the 600 stitches, I want to say, is a mixture between this blue cup here and starting in this purple cup right here. I think there's like 200 stitches in the blue cup and then 400 stitches in that purple cup right there. And then that means that all of the cups are started, so that's great. So now I just got to work on finishing them all. But I'm just using whatever came in the kit. And so this is my least favorite piece, and I don't really know why, because I don't mind stitching on dark fabric. It does not bother me. And I really like the design and I like the colors. They're really bright and cheerful, and I like the design. I just don't know why I don't like stitching on it. So, all right, so that got 600 stitches. All right, next up is one of my new starts for this year. I want to say I started this in September. This is Cherry Blossom by Blue Fox Stitchery. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I started stitching this with Alara. And I had a goal to get 3,000 stitches on it, which I did. I finished that goal in the month of October. And I'm doing it 2/1 half cross. Make sure I show it the right way. I did an upper right hand corner start and 2/1 half cross on a 28 count linen of some sort. And that is where I got to. Did I write down? I did. So I started at 2,140 stitches, and I'm currently at I did a total of 871 stitches on it in the month of October. So I now have 3,011 stitches done out of 83,325. And I went from 2.56% to 3.61%. So that's good. But I did get my stitch goal done on this, so it is going to go away for a bit. But have no fear, it will come out again. Probably next year. Ooh. Oh, goodness. All right. But it's going to be really pretty once I get more of it. Okay, next up. We're getting close, guys. We're almost there. All right, next up. Now we are entering into the whips that I have done over 1,000 stitches on. So we're getting close. Okay, this one is another Monopoly piece. This is the piece that gets 200 stitches for passing go, 400 stitches if someone lands on go. And this is my other stocking, The Enchanted Christmas Reindeer by Donna Gelsinger, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And so I've stitched on this a few times. One of the times I ended up going over by like 25 stitches. I think why did I do that? I don't know. I ended up doing 225 stitches one time. Not really sure why. Maybe it was to finish a diagonal or something. But anyway, that's where I'm at with it right now. But for the month of October, I have done 1,025 stitches, and I did write this down. So I've done 1,025 stitches on this in the month of October. I went from 11,380 stitches to 12,405 out of 55,903. And then I started the month at 20.36%, and I am now at 22.19%. So that's good. And I'm doing it with the Call for DMC on a 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana. Okay. Next up is, I didn't write the beginning. I didn't write this one down. Oh well. Next up is a piece I'm doing for my son, and this is Yippee-Ki-Yay Motherfucker by Stitchman Darcy. This is a quote from a movie, before anyone gets offended. It is a quote from Die Hard. It is 191 by 79, and I keep this out. It's one of my focus pieces. I keep it out and try to work on it every week. I'm using the Call for DMC. It does have some back stitching. And, oh, whoops, hang on. Okay. For the month of October, I got a total combination of cross stitching and back stitching. I got 1,144 stitches done. And this is why I want to try to track my back stitching and my cross stitching separate, because I don't remember how much of each that I got done. But cross stitching wise, I don't have my before on my list here. Cross stitching wise, I'm currently sitting at 3,448 stitches completed out of 6,661, and I am at 51.76% done with the cross stitching. There is back stitching that has to be completed as well. So I'm going to keep this out and work on it, try to work on it every week until it is completed, because my son specifically asked me to get this piece done. All right. Next up is my other piece that I am doing technical stitches on for Great British Bake Off. I did work on this besides, like, before I started the Bake Off stitches. So there is additional stitches for this, but this is just one more chapter by Puntini. And it says just one more chapter and other lies I tell myself. So not all of this piece's stitches were for Bake Off. Just want to clarify that. Does it really matter to you? No. But for the month of October, I have done, and this is why I want to clarify it, because of the amount of stitches that got done on this before I started, like, for the month, because some of it was before I started doing Bake Off. But this is where I'm at with it now. I've done a total, whoopsies, of 1,537 stitches. And I'm doing it with a call for DMC on a printed, like the back of it's white, a printed 28 count even weave that I picked up for like $1 at the store. I'm almost done with it. So this is my, like I said, this is my other piece that I do my, the technical stitching for Bake Off. So this will be getting worked on this week too. But that'll be in the November one. Hey, fingers crossed that, I say this and watch it not happen. Fingers crossed that this will be a finish in November. I doubt it. Wouldn't that be great if both of my technical stitches, my friends' quotes, and that were finishes in November? That would be fabulous. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would still, a girl can dream, right? Okay. 3 pieces left. 3 whips left, and then we'll be done. Okay. Next up is, I just showed all 3 of these in my floss tube too, so I feel like I'm being very repetitive. But next up is my whip of shame for the month of October, and this is Walking to Town from Dimensions, and it was designed by Fred Swan. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am going to go ahead and show you the complete before and after, even though technically I started doing this in September, so I'm going to show you the complete before and after. I think technically I did some of these stitches in the last few days of September, but it's fine. I'm going to show you the whole thing. So this is being stitched on whatever came in the kit. It's like a 16 count Navy Aida. And for the month of October, I did 3,120 stitches. And this is a combination of half cross, full cross, and some back stitching. Really, really digging the back stitching on that house there. I did that like yesterday, like in the windows and on the porch. But so this is another example of why I want to kind of try to track the 3 separate things like all differently, is like say, well, I did this many full crosses, this many half crosses, and this many back stitches. So I'll try to remember to track that stuff separately. But I got my Whip of Shame goal done for the month of October. It was for 100 a day for the month, for a total of 3,100 stitches, so that's good. I've actually completed the goal every month so far. That is going away because that goal got done. Okay. Next up is, please tell me I wrote, oh, I did. Okay, good. Next up is Honeymoon Sunset, and this is by the Cross Stitch Studio. It is 869 by 649. It has 133 colors. So like I said, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is my favorite piece. I've been working on this all year long, so I'm going to be super excited to see my end of year whip parade before and after. But I am currently, what I'm currently doing it with it is I was working on it every week, and then I decided, but then it was like a week or 2 went by where I didn't work on it. But now it is my main stitching piece for Great British Bake Off. So I've been working all over. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you where all year I've been working all over, like since I started working on this, but I've now focused on the top right corner, and I'm doing it with the call for DMC 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana. And I'm going to show you the corner that I'm working on first, and then I'll just show the whole thing. So there I am. For the month of October, I have done 5,687 stitches. I started the month at, where is it? 200,206. I am currently sitting at 205,892 out of 563,981. I started the month at 35.50%, and I am ending the month at 36.51%. So I have increased this by a full percentage. Really? 35.5 and 36. I have increased this by a full percentage in 1 month. Wow. I have an end goal to get this to 45% by the end of next year. That's going to be very doable if I keep on this track. Okay. So let me show you the whole thing. Hang on. There we go. So there's the whole thing. Okay, let me get closer. So my tree from hell. I hate this tree, but I love this tree. And see what I mean? Like, I've worked all over. And I've worked in the middle, worked across the top. That's where I'm working at right now. I've worked down that bottom corner there. Like, this over here is when I was trying to like be like, oh, let me do a page finish. And I just like picked a page. Didn't finish it. But that's the page I was working on. And then I was like, oh, let me do this gazebo over here. Like, I've been all over the place. But I am now focused in the top right corner. I'm doing it on the diagonal. This down here, right about here, marks the halfway point with the length. So that's exciting. So now technically I am past the halfway mark with my diagonals. Maybe I could track how many diagonals I complete. Like, I'd be like, okay, I finished this diagonal and then I completed this many more in the month, because I really do not remember where I started off at the beginning of the month, but it was definitely like further up. But yeah. And then what's going to be exciting is once I get this diagonal done and I start back down here again, I'm actually going to be getting into this gazebo by about this far, I believe. And I should be getting up into the house, because this right here, this smoke that's coming out right there, that is actually from the chimney of the house that's next to the lighthouse. And then when I come up here, this diagonal is going to end like right about there. So I'll actually be getting into some of the top of the lighthouse too. So the next diagonal after I finish this one is going to be very, very exciting to see all this stuff coming in. I'm stoked. I'm stoked. It like that alone right there motivates me to stitch on it even more. And I can't believe I increased this by a complete percentage in the month of October. That's wild. That's awesome. Good job, Jen. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Okay. Last piece. This is the current stitch along from Heaven and Earth Designs for the year 2024. And hang on, let me just, for completion purposes, let me cross everything off as I do it. We had 10 pieces to pick from. I picked Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2 by Amy Stewart. We have until the end of the year to get this done. This is 300 by 205, is 90 colors. Yeah, 90 colors. So we have until the end of the year to get this done. So I could technically not even stitch on this in the month of November at all and give myself a break and still have it done by the end of the year. But I want to try, my goal now is to get this thing done by the, before Thanksgiving. I'm doing it 2/1 tent stitch on a 28 count easy count Lugana. That's where I'm at with it now. I'm almost done. Like that's all I got left. I started the month at 47,586 stitches done. I have done a total of 8,872 stitches this in the month of October. So I am now sitting at 55,613 stitches done out of 61,500. I started the month at 77.38%. And I am currently at 90.43%. So, very doable to get this thing done before Thanksgiving, I think, because I have less than 6,000 stitches to go. So, we will see how quick I can get this thing done. They are doing another Haid Sal next year. I was doing a comparison of the two, the differences in my floss tube. And then I was like getting tempted by one of the offerings that they have. But man, the stitch count is going to be so much more. 85, average of like anywhere from 85,000 to 90,000 stitches per piece, as opposed to 60 to 61,000 stitches. Like I have one of the bigger ones for this year and it's 61,500. But so many people have been completing this, their sals like really early. So they made the patterns bigger for next year. And they also offered more. Now I will say next year's offer, sal charts, I like those more than the ones that they had for this year. So I'm a little bummed about that. I will say that. It's like, it's almost one of those things where it's like, I'm tempted to join the sal just to get the chart that I would like. Because there's a few of them that I was looking at them and I'm like, I would buy that. Like if she had it for sale, I'd be like, yeah, I would buy that one. There's a few of them, and so it's like that's what I'm not necessarily wanting to finish the sal. That's something to think about. I'm gonna have to talk with my friends about this, because now I'm thinking, well, I like not necessarily to finish it by the end of the year per se, because I don't care. Like right now I'm trying to finish that sal. The current sal, this year's sal, if I finish it by the end of the year, I get all the charts that were made available, plus 2 charts off of the website, free. Next year, you get all 12 of the charts that were made available if you finish 6 pages. It went from 4 pages to 6 pages. You get all 12 of the charts, plus you get 1 chart of your choice off of the website. So if you finish, oh my God, it's late. Next year, if you finish 6 pages, you get all the sal charts that were offered. If you complete the sal by the end of the year, you get all the sal charts plus a chart off of the website. I wouldn't necessarily want to finish it by the end of the year per se, but maybe if I could try to do 6 pages, because I know that the Haid pages are about 8,500 stitches, thereabouts. So 8,500 times 6, 51,000. I gotta think on that. I gotta think about that. Anyway, so that's my end of the month recap for the month of October. Lot of charts, lots of whips, lots of stitching. I think what I'm going to try to do next for the month of November is I'm going to try to track better my starting stitch count and percentage, like the starting point for the month, for all of the ones that are in Pattern Keeper. And I'm going to try and track the full crosses versus half crosses versus back stitching a little bit better. Yeah, maybe I'll try to work out like a little tracking sheet or something for myself, because I didn't really do that. You want to know what I did to figure out my stitches for the month of October? About, I'd say right after I got done filming the regular floss tube update, within 10 minutes, I went onto YouTube and I pulled up all the floss tubes for the month of October, and like all of mine, like I pulled one up and I like fast forwarded through it until I held up my board that I usually show, and I screenshot it. And I pulled up the next one for that I did in October, and I screenshot it. So, and then I pulled out my whiteboard like for the one I just did, and so I wrote down, like for the Haid style, I wrote down each board stitch count, and then I just added it all together. That's all I did. So that's why I'm like, where's this one? Where's this one? So I think I might try to track that stuff a little bit better for the month of November. We'll see. We'll see how I do. Yeah, so any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. And if you like what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And yeah, so take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.